Wonderful. This is a great opportunity to introduce our first speaker today. Linsey Poker joined US Bank as a contract negotiator in March of 2011. She was promoted to vice president and senior procurement manager in 2013, where she was responsible for the strategic sourcing and vendor management at US Bank. In 2019, she accepted a position as the digital lead strategist for US Bank Orange County market and serves on the board of the Asian Business Association of Orange County and the Voices for Children Community Council in the Inland Empire. Prior to joining US Bank, Linsey spent 5 years at a law firm in a variety of roles and a short stint in sports journalism reporting on the Minnesota Twins. So everyone on the call, please welcome our first speaker, Linsey Poker. Linsey, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks, Joseph. I really appreciate it. I am so excited to be asked to be a part of this amazing organization and to talk a little bit about what US Bank does and kind of where we're going with our digital technology and information. So I just put a few slides together. The first one is highlighting the importance of what we're doing here today. Digital is central to absolutely everybody's lives, right? We have 3.5 hours a day spent on our iPhones. I don't even want to know what those numbers look like during times of quarantine as we socially distance ourselves from everybody else. I'm sure those numbers have absolutely skyrocketed. And then, we have over 80 apps on our phone every day. And so if we can become central to our customers' lives and you as small businesses can become central to their lives by figuring out how to digitize your products, your services, your networking events, that's going to be crucial to scaling your business and ensuring your success in the future. And so that's kind of the philosophy that we live by at US Bank and how we teach and coach our bankers, like my amazing partner, Joanna, on everything that we do at US Bank. So if we go to the next slide, which I think really sets up amazing opportunities for some of our next speakers, like Jay, and talking about what to do on YouTube, you can see exactly what happens in an internet minute, right? You have 1 million people who log into Facebook every minute of the day, and you have 3.8 million Google searches. So if you can maximize what your company is doing to be strategically found within Google or Yelp or any of those types of things, like that's a phenomenal foundation for you and your company to go on forward in the future. And that's the same message that we share with our bankers. At US Bank, we firmly believe in the human and the digital touch. And so Joanna has probably heard me say like 1 million times, let's get digital, because I firmly believe that if you don't have the people, the talent, or the caring nature behind what you're doing digitally, it's not as effective. And so that's the message that we continue to share today. And that's certainly what you'd see from US Bank today. We're encouraging everyone to use our new and improved US Bank mobile app. There's approximately 150 different types of features that you can do on the app itself to stay socially distant, to keep you and your family safe and from those banking transactions. But we're still seeing that people need a human touch. They need human connection within that. So they're either calling the branch to ask for help and guidance with the mobile app, or they need to talk to a physical banker and they're still going into the branch. But those visits have more purpose and meaning going forward. And I think it's that great combination of what we're doing digitally, the physical human touch and customer services interaction going forward. So with that being said, when we go to the next slide, I just want everyone to remember that convenience is key for your customer. And sometimes that means a quality conversation where you make their life easier through the services you provide. And sometimes that's about making your company found in an easier fashion. The number one most important factor in customer loyalty is the reduction of customer effort. And that's what US Bank has designed our mobile app about. We don't want you to have to search for the answer. We want you to just open your US Bank app and find what you can. And having that mentality with your customers, I think will take you really far as we continue to add services at US Bank to our mobile app. we're able to see a significant increase in the customers that have adopted it because it's easy for them to use. And that's across a lot of different ages and demographics in our customers. And I think that that's reflected in the numbers too. So 77% of people say that valuing their time is the most important thing a company can do to provide them with a good service. So keep that in mind as all of these other phenomenal speakers talk to you about their tips and tricks of the trade. These people are amazing at their crafts, and I value their expertise and experience, and so hopefully you do as well. A couple of things that I wanted to highlight real quick is if you look to the next slide, US Bank's social media in Orange County. So I wanted to go with something that's facing our public today and really encouraging you to think about your multiple partners that you come across every day and making sure that you're cross-tagging and cross-functioning and recognizing each other within your social activity. So at US Bank, in December and January, we sponsored a food truck for all of our mobile app activity. We wanted people to think mobile banking, mobile food truck, nice little play on words there. And what we did is we went live with both Twitter and Instagram as well as LinkedIn. And we shared our amazing vendor partners that were all customers of US Bank. And we told their story of growing as customers of our bank, why we were proud to serve their food to the rest of the organization. And then we wrote about that story in a public way and tagged our vendor partners in that. And simultaneously, our vendors also did that. And some of our things for that were, we wanted to have a good social media presence. We want to make sure that we mention those companies in there, come up with a unique hashtag and also reference that with other hashtags. And then finally, think about a relevant image that does that. A lot of people, react well to children, graphic images, things that are recognizable within your communities. I'm sure our experts will talk a little bit more on that. And then I just included a couple of examples of where US Bank has done that in the past. And then the final page here before I switch into some of our small banking discussions is 3 additional tips to success. So the first one is reminder that the physical and the human touch is what makes things different, especially in the time of social distancing and the coronavirus itself. We need to be socially distant from people, but not emotionally distant from people. So the way that you can maximize that with the technology that you're using and getting in front of people as they're looking at their phone over 3.5 hours a day is going to be huge for you and your company's success. And something that I would encourage and advocate for. The second is to stay present and current on social media trends. So internally at US Bank, part of my job is to train people about the technology that's available, just like you are training your customers to know more about your social media and digital presence. And some of the things that we do that we get a lot of success from are things that are currently active on social media. So we have a couple of TikTok videos, right, that show us in our mobile clothes and not in our US Bank uniform and how you can switch in and out of those. We have a Carol Baskin challenge, right? Just spurs people to get interested in what you're doing in a juiced and fun way. And then, we've even experimented a little bit with clickbait in terms of open me to find out why Linsey Poker is jumping for joy today. And that announcement was tied in with the fact that US Bank is now accepting treasury checks through our mobile check deposit. So if you get a stimulus check or you get a tax refund check, you can now deposit those in the US Bank mobile app without having to visit a branch. So that is fantastic news and something that I truly was jumping for joy for. And so we just kind of played that up in a fun way that you commonly see on the internet today. So keeping up with your readers and what they're looking at is one of my biggest tips to success. And then finally, tailor your message to current needs. I would think about things like suddenly my email is full of little pieces of information. It probably doesn't surprise anyone that I am a chronic online shopper. I like to reward myself for everything that I do. So, oh, you sent a hard email, let's order something online. A lot of my inbox is flooded now with work from home comfies or matching sweat sets. And that's because we're tailoring to what the current environment is doing. And that's the same thing you guys need to do today. And that doesn't always mean that we're tailoring to, oh, I'm social distancing myself or we're here for you in the time of social quarantine. But sometimes it's about we're buying local, we're giving back to the community. Here's what our plan is and what our communication is about. And so as you tailor more to what the community is reacting to, I think you'll have bigger success. That's kind of like a big topic of kind of my recommendations in terms of social media or other things. I also wanted to briefly touch on some of the technology US Bank is utilizing to help small businesses in the future. So right now, if you go to usbank.com and you look at our business banking website, we do have links that I'll publish here in the chat as well. Their individuals can log on and put in their email address and their contact information. And as the payment guarantee programs from SBA are being developed and launched and go live, you'll receive up-to-date information from US Bank and information on how to apply to ensure that your payroll needs are met or receive a loan from US Bank as part of the government relief package. US Bank has a new technology. It's called Fund My Business, which allows for streamlined applications anywhere online. And it allows for us to utilize kind of third parties verifications as well as communicating with you directly without you ever having to step foot in a branch, even as a US Bank customer or non-US Bank customer. So if that's an interest to you, please do utilize those resources or contact Joanna or myself, and we'd be happy to connect you with a business banker. But really, I think the highlight there, aside from the business opportunity for us, is leverage your technology to do new things where you can. And I think you have a lot of good experts on the phone who can help you utilize those resources. Fund My Business has been with US Bank for a few different months, and we've been able to utilize that to get loans through quickly and efficiently, and we're going to leverage that technology going forward. So that's everything I have. I'll turn it back to you guys. Thank you for including me. I feel absolutely blessed to be here. So best of luck and stay safe and healthy.
Thanks, Linsey.
Okay, so at this juncture, I believe we're going to go into a Q&A with Ms. Poker. Professor Eddy? All right, so what we'll do right now is we're going to transition into a phase where, if any of the participants here have any questions that they'd like to ask Ms. Poker regarding her presentation or anything for that matter, if you could make your entry into the chat box and we'll proceed to answer your question. All right, so I'm sure Ms. Poker has a lot of things to say to respond to any questions that you guys may have. If you do have any questions, please enter them in the chat box now.
Okay, I see a question here. Here we go. Okay. I actually have a question from John Kurth. You talk about reacting to trends, Linsey. What is the proactive nature of your digital branding with US Bank?
So that's a good question. It's hard in a large company to always necessarily be proactive, because what I'm doing is I'm receiving a lot of technology initiatives from higher levels of corporation and then sharing that with the bankers that live within Orange County. I would say in terms of what proactive things I'm doing in addition to watching social trends is I'm actively observing the way that our customers interact with bankers every day. If I'm not in my office, I'm watching them and where their trends start to develop, if they come in with higher than average mobile check deposits, or I see more than usual people at the ATM, I will spend a day at that branch trying to understand why, and then proactively either provide training or send feedback to my technology office that we need other developments or abilities within the application because there's a demographic of people who aren't utilizing current technology needs at US Bank.
Okay, thank you. A second question that I read here, are there any details on the federal grant programs for small businesses?
So the details that we currently have are the same ones that are available to the public. If you look in the group chat, I did include the Apply at US Bank application inquiry form, and that's where you'll find the most up-to-date information as we're actively working with regulators to get clarity on what that program looks like. We're committed to anyone who responds in that inquiry form to reaching out and providing clarity on those rules and kind of the development that they have in.
Great. Okay, Joanna. Joanna said, hello, this is Joanna from US Bank as well. As what Linsey said in regards to small business paycheck protection programs, if you guys have any questions, please give me a call or email me. That's from Joanna.
Yes,
so,
she's a phenomenal partner. So we thank her. When we talk about human touch, it couldn't be done without people like her and her branch.
Got it. Okay, so 2 more questions and then we'll move on. I have a question here. It says, hi, Linsey. My business is not active on social networking / media, and we are just starting. Where do you suggest we start?
Oh, wow. So I think it depends upon what your clientele is. And I'm not necessarily familiar with the specifics on it, but if you want to reach out and have a discussion, I'm happy to do that. Think about what that demographic typically uses. So if it's kind of professional services or consulting based, LinkedIn is going to be one of your biggest friends and advocates, right? There's a lot of social-minded people and companies that share information on there. If it's tailored more to individuals and maybe a younger demographic, Instagram, or I hear TikTok's a big thing now. I'm still working on that one. You might want to launch more of your company's initiatives that way to share your information and kind of what your story is. And you can never go wrong with Facebook. I don't know exactly what their data analytics are, but they're phenomenal. And even if you talk about something outside of theirs, it's somehow they know. So sharing your information there and having a presence there is always well advised. And then, of course, if you're a goods and services industry, right, think about things like Yelp and Google reviews and things like that, because customers who don't know anything, that's one of the first places they're going to look to find a partner and find somebody to provide those services.
Okay, last question. What makes, and this is from Emma, what makes US Bank different from other credit unions or other big banks?
Wow, I could spend the entire hour answering that one, but I will go very short and I will say that I think it's the people, and I think it's that dynamic that we found in the ability between human and digital touch, right? We want the digital experience to be convenient for you, but we want you to know that you have an entire army of people at US Bank there to help support you. And I'm not just saying that flippantly, like truly from the bottom of our heart, like we are there for our customers and we live and breathe that every day. And I've had the privilege of witnessing that to all the bridges that I've visited since we started social quarantine, and watching them truly take the time to deliver those services to their customers and proactively reach out and call to make sure that that individual is doing okay.
All right, excellent. Well, everyone, please round of applause for Linsey and let's thank her.